Welcome to Andy's Garage. I'm Andy Phillips. Today I'm going to show you how to replace a wheel cylinder on your vehicle. Very easy. So let's go ahead and get started. These are the items that you'll need to complete this. First of all, you are going to need your wheel cylinder, the replacement. You have to get the specific part for your vehicle. Next, you are going to need the right size wrench to remove the brake line where it screws in here to the back, right here. It goes into the back of the cylinder. You will need the socket. There's usually two, right up here you can see it, there's two bolts that go through the plate behind the drum where that connects in, so you will need to remove that. And then these tools here, you'll need needle nose pliers, some kind of a pry bar or flathead screwdriver, and a hammer. That's what you're going to need in order to remove the drum itself and then to remove the brake shoes and all the hardware so you can free up the wheel cylinder to be able to replace it. And then of course you will need whatever lug nuts and jack, things like that you'll need to get the car up in the air, but I don't have these here. But these are the tools that will be needed to complete this. What we have here has already been cleaned out. We normally have the brake shoes in here and all the hardware. I went and removed all of that already. We already cleaned inside of this plate in here. Everything's been cleaned. But I'm going to go ahead, we're going to head back, and I'm going to take you back before that so you can see what we had to do to get to this point, so that way we can free up this brake cylinder here to remove it.
After removing the brake drum, as seen there, you can see what we ran into here. The wheel cylinder was in bad shape. The boots were all ripped up and leaking. The hardware on the brakes themselves, from the brake shoes to the springs, just everything was just a real mess here inside of these drum brakes. And take a look there how bad it looks. So I started off by removing all that, cleaning all that out. If you want to see the full video on how to do drum brakes, I'll have the link across the top, also down in the description. In that video, I go in depth, as I'm showing here, how to remove all of the hardware, clean that out, put it all back together, and get everything reassembled with all the new hardware, the new brake shoes, and everything that goes with that. So we removed all that, disconnected the emergency brake lever as well with the spring, and disconnected all of that, and then ended off by removing the hub bearing assembly, because that makes it a lot easier to get in there to put all the brakes and all the components back in there.
Now I also have the hub bearing assembly off because I'm putting together the whole drum brake assembly. You don't need to do that. If you have, and I'll show you, this right here is the hub bearing assembly. You can leave that on and still access the wheel cylinder as we have it here. So even though you don't see this on in this video because I'm doing some other work, you don't have to remove that part. That does not have to come off. And these are held on just by two. Let's head here to the back and I'll show you. There's two bolts. You have this one here and that one right there. Those are the only two things holding it on. Then you do have a brake line that has to be taken off. So you'll need to see what size the wrench is for your brake line and for these two bolts. And that's as easy as it is to take it off. I'm going to start by removing this brake line. All right, pull that out. Now we are going to have to bleed the brakes afterwards because of removing the line here. You don't want to be getting air in it. So we'll move that off to the side. Now we can pull that out. This one's on there pretty good. And you can see how bad that looks. I'm going to clean this off here. We've already cleaned in here, but I'm going to clean that area real good with the steel brush and get that nice and cleaned up before we put the new one in. Now we're ready to replace the actual wheel cylinder. This right here is our bleeder valve. We're going to leave that tightened and capped. We also have a plug in here where the brake line goes in. I'm going to keep that sealed while we're putting it in. That way no dirt and debris gets in it. Once we have everything tightened up and in place, then we'll pop that off and reconnect the brake line. So what we'll do, we're just going to go ahead. You can see that shape fits right into that oval. Slides right in like that. So then I'll take these the 5/16 screws, come here on the back side. We'll hand tighten them in. Hold everything in place. Take the other one, put that one in. This is all nice and secure. So the next thing that I'm going to do is remove the plug where the brake line goes in back of the cylinder, and then we can go ahead and tighten that in place. I'm going to hand tighten it first, that way we don't cross thread anything. Next, I'm going to take the wrench. We're going to tighten it up. Okay, that's good. Here's a shot from the back so you can see everything reattached. The two bolts and the brake line. And then you want to leave that cap on the bleeder valve and only take it off as needed. This brake cylinder is all attached. Everything is good. So that would be the end for replacing the brake cylinder. The next thing that you would do is you would need to reinstall your brake shoes, the hardware, put the hub bearing assembly back on if you removed it like I did. If not, you wouldn't have to worry about that. But then you would just have to remount the drum, put the wheel back on, the tire, all that stuff, and you're done with that. But that's not for this video. If you are trying to replace the whole drum brake assembly and all the hardware, you can check out my video via the link above, also down in the description on how to do that as well. That wraps up this video on replacing a wheel cylinder on your vehicle. I hope that this video was informative for you. I hope it helped you out with any projects you're working on. If you have any questions or comments, please send them in. I would love to hear from you. And as always, I appreciate all the support. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.